today's moving on day.
Yes. Bug. Sorry.
Except so far all we've managed to do is go backwards.
Yeah. We came from our mooring on
Frouds
Bridge down to Aldermaston so we can get some water, which required going up above Frouds Bridge so we could turn around so we could come back past Frouds Bridge, past the dog that was swimming in the water. Our dog decided to chase a bird.
And then we had to come down the lock at Aldermaston, which is a very nice lock, and we saw a couple coming along, so we waited for them and got to share the lock.
Yeah, and they were really cool, told us about Bristol and a place called the Dandelion pub that we're supposed to stop at.
And they also told us about the big ship.
Oh yeah, the USS Great Britain.
HMS?
Great Britain? USS. It wouldn't be USS. The HMS Great Britain or Great Britannia or something. It's supposed to be very large. And it's like, Aldermaston Lock is this like scalloped lock that's like a very old traditional design and listed monument and everything. So it's all pretty nice. Weather's
nice.
Holding so far.
So yeah, water, breakfast, and then off to find a mooring.
And a better dog.
So that was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And we've only just made it to our destination.
Yeah. So
we were having a lovely day. George was playing with his ball. The sun was shining.
And sunny. And then we were all set to go, and we were ready to push off and back up and up the lock again.
I just set the time-lapse camera on the front of the boat to film like our route.
Yeah. And right about then was when I decided to face plant into the side of the canal. Nobody heard it, and the only witness was the silent witness, the camera, which of course it was on time lapse. So.
And I was blocking it, and it was just out of shot. So I'm really annoyed.
Yeah.
That Michael didn't fall in the other side.
That I didn't fall in frame. But you can see me briefly lying there unconscious.
And we don't really know where you hit your head. Well, we know where you hit your head.
We know where on my face we hit my head.
There's marks. So I turned around and I saw Michael crumpled on the floor, leg in the canal. And
pulling my leg out of the canal.
So I was like, oh, he's moving, he's okay. So I had to secure the dog, jump off the boat, and it was like swinging out into the canal.
Yeah, and the only thing going through my head is, well, one canal, and everything just went solid black. I couldn't see anything, and all I could feel was one leg being wet, and I knew the boat was kind of heading towards me. So
well, it wasn't. It was heading the other way, but you didn't know that.
But I didn't know that, so I was like, don't want to be squished by the boat. Get foot out of the water. Got the foot out of the water and just blanked out. Like I don't remember anything.
So I need to secure the boat, but he'd like landed across the rope that he just untied. So I was like, Michael, I need the rope, and I was trying to pull the rope from under him to then tie us back onto the bollard.
I was unconscious.
You don't remember me trying to get the rope from under?
No idea you were pulling the rope from under me. Apparently I was trying to be an anchor. And no, I don't remember anything whatsoever until you had me sitting up. And
I was trying to get you to stay laying down to not move.
Oh, okay, so then I sat myself up. I don't remember that part. That my brain returned, and for some stupid reason the first thing I started doing was trying to remember Einstein's relativity.
You just check that you still...
Yeah, I think I was just trying to figure out, like, does it still work? Is the speed of light still equal to matter times the constant? Is the energy... Right, yeah, okay, no, I'm not dead.
I looked at Michael's face, like, you lifted your face up from the ground, and there's all blood in his mouth, and then there's blood, like, in the eye socket. So I thought you'd somehow damaged your eyeball, and because it just looked like you were bleeding out of your eyeball. And I said, you're bleeding. And you said, I know, I can taste it. And I'm like, no, your eye.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't see it. But I can see fine. Both my eyes are working.
I suggested getting on the boat, but you realised that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
So we kicked these two gentlemen off a bench just across the grass.
Yeah. They were nice enough to move. And they were quite
They didn't have
friendly.
even... noticed Michael fall or lying on the ground for a minute.
Sat down beside them. They were nice enough to offer me some tea. The fact that I declined it meant I was probably okay.
Yeah, I possibly should have called 999, but I called 111.
Resources.
So because it was 111, they said, where are you? And I said, I don't know. I'm on a boat. And that kind of sent him into a massive panic on the phone. So he went to get a supervisor or something. And he was like, because you're at sea. And I'm like, I'm not at sea, I'm on a canal. And then he was like, okay, so we just need to locate you. We need a postcode. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm at Aldermaston Wharf. And he was like, what's the nearest pub? I was like, I don't know what the nearest pub is. So, like, he couldn't take any...
Always remember where the nearest pub is.
They talked to Michael and went through a list of...
Oh, yeah, like critical things.
Yeah, they decided that they should send an ambulance.
Yeah, as a sort of precautionary measure. And then, I don't know how long passed.
It was about an hour.
And there was a weird noise in my neck. So, when the paramedics actually arrived, I described that to them, and they're like, okay, we're going to put you into a spinal collar and take you to the hospital just in case.
And we were on a 4-hour mooring, so basically just had to stay there. And it was a Saturday, so it couldn't call, well, I tried to call the CRT, but they're not there on a Saturday. So kind of stuck. And it's made me realise that I need to be able to move the boat on my own through the locks. Like, I need to get confident at doing that.
Yeah, and I need to get confident at getting back on and off the boat again.
Because that's the thing, we weren't in a stress situation, the weather was fine, we weren't in a rush.
No, as far as I can tell, it was just, like, not the best piece of my shoe to contact what was a slightly wet piece of wood that was also slightly mobile. So I think I just stepped on the nail and my foot slid and hit the wet wood and then just went out from under me and straight into the canal, and I just tumbled.
Straight down.
Straight down. I missed the iron bollard by maybe 6 inches.
And I don't know if you...
just plain luck.
I don't know if you remember this, but when the paramedic was talking to you, you said to him that you were getting on the boat, and that's when it happened. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, you were describing the accident as you were getting on the boat. And I was like, well, no, that can't be right, because you were face down.
Yeah,
as if
so I
you'd
must have
stepped
been getting off the boat.
You're definitely getting off the boat, because that's what the GoPro footage showed afterwards. But you were adamant you were getting on the boat, so you lost quite a bit of time. That's another reason they decided to take you in, because you had quite a lot of confusion about what had actually happened and how it had happened.
And I was quite confused in the ambulance. I remember that. When they put me on my back, the headache went from like 0 to 90. Like I had a headache, but it wasn't like a mind-numbing, skull throbbing type thing. When they put me on my back, it was just absolutely agonizing. They were asking me like sort of basic details and stuff, and I couldn't remember our postcode. I couldn't remember anything. Then we get to the hospital. They drag me in.
Drag you in.
Well, they take me out of the ambulance. However they do that, and you're on sort of a gurney thing, I guess. I'm on a gurney, and something must have hit like a bump or something, because all of a sudden I'm just like jostled forward, and it really hurt. And then they moved me onto the bed, which was this whole process with like 9 different people, and like 15 seconds later, this American doctor's like felt my neck for like a few seconds, asked me 3 questions, and tells me to sit up. Okay, sit up, pain goes away. Like the headache just almost disappeared. I got a little bit of a bruise on my eye socket.
Because the blood that was actually coming, that I thought was coming from his eyeball, was coming from his, just above your nose, really.
Crease above my nose. Yeah, it turned out like the doctor thought that it was just a little bit of blood, and then when he washed it away and it started kind of gushing, he was like, oh god, there's an actual wound here. He called this nurse over, and she just looked at it for a second and was just like, oh, just use this new glue, and so the doctor's like, ooh, I get to practice with some new glue, and I have no idea what any of that means, but anyway, she was really sweet. I got glued back together, and then an x-ray was ordered for my arm, and I waited for a while, got my arm x-rayed, turned out my arm was fine. Doctor walked me out front and let me go. Don't even know what we did at that point. I think we drove home, but it's really funny. Like I'm missing whole portions of that day because I know we drove home, but I don't remember any of the drive home. And then we got back to the boat. Because 20 feet or something.
We were still on the water points, which is actually a 4-hour mooring, but obviously felt bad being on the water point. So when Michael went off in the ambulance, I put a note in the window saying medical emergency, please moor alongside us for water, and somebody actually did. And there was CRT lock keepers on the lock above us, but you could see the water point from the lock. So I said to them, like, if anyone's coming down and they need water, just tell them to moor alongside us. And then so when we got back from the hospital, we just dragged, there's 2 moorings there, so we dragged the boat off the water point onto the other one. We may get fined for being there for more than 4 hours, because there was a sign that said there's like a £25 £1 fine a night, but if we end up paying £25, we end up paying £25. One reason I knew Michael was going to be okay is because we were sitting on the bench waiting for the ambulance, and he turned to me and said, "What's my name again?"
Yeah, I was trying to be funny.
Not funny.
And then the next morning, I'm in a fair bit of pain, but I thought I can get up and walk the dog. So there's this pound that we're sitting on, and the area where I can walk him is on the other side of a swing bridge. I knew he was excited because there was a bird near the water, but I didn't realize just how excited because I opened the gate and he like flung through, pulled this thing so hard on my wrist that it pulled off my wrist. And 3 seconds later, this idiot dog is in the pound chasing a coot who thinks it's really funny to like just keep swimming like another foot or so every time the dog gets close. Like the bird's not even worried about actually getting caught. He kind of veers off towards the trees. The bird loses him. Now he doesn't know what to do except for turn back and come back to us. And then he gets over to the side and he tries pulling himself out of the water, but there's nothing for him to grab onto, so he just starts sinking. So I had to get down on my knees, reach in, grab him by the...
Yeah, luckily he had his harness on.
Had his harness
a handle on it.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd have him by the scruff of his neck. And then I yank him out of the water.
And then you can't move.
And then I didn't black out again, but I definitely, like the throbbing headache thing came back, and like I got really nauseous and stuck there holding this soaking wet dog who's licking my face because he's so happy I've just saved him from the killer bird from...
And potentially we should
hell.
have just stayed on that 4-hour mooring for the day, but like...
Don't want another 25 pounds.
Didn't feel comfortable there, like felt bad being there. So, and we knew it was only one lock back up to where we'd been before. So we went up through that lot, and then we just went back to the mooring that we'd been on the day before.
Yeah, so 2 days, 1 trip to the hospital, innumerable amounts of medication, 1 swimming dog.
And then this morning we finally did the last little bits of here, and it's really nice here. So
It's really nice.
And now Michael's going to bed because he's overdone it. So this video wasn't the video we thought we'd be making. And sorry about the clickbait title. I'm going to do a clickbait title.
Clickbait title.
I also need to Photoshop your face because your injuries don't look bad enough.
Yeah, it doesn't look nearly as bad as she wants it to. So I'm going to sit here and she's going to go into Photoshop and add gore and brain.
Maybe some blood and like a bigger black eye.
I'm the visual effects person in this family, but she's learning.
So yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, right. Like and subscribe. And by the way, stay vertical. Just stay vertical. Don't never meet the canal with your face. Unpleasant. Is that what the note said?
Yeah.
I remember reading it and thinking it basically said your husband was an idiot.
When Michael was sprawled on the bank and I was trying to secure the dog and get the phone and stuff, I was in such a rush to get back in the boat that I hit my head getting back in and like just crumbled on the floor going, my head. So that was me basically trying to get some attention back because I didn't want Michael to get all the attention from having a head injury, but it didn't work.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I couldn't.
Can you remember it?
No, but I mean, I know I've seen the video where you hit your head, and I'm standing there looking like an idiot, but like, don't remember it.
You were like, oh no, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
But, spoiler alert, Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 6. Very good. Very good.
We might watch it again.
Zombie dragons.
I suppose you did say spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
You know, can you say it before you do the spoiler?
Back in time, previous spoiler alert.
I'll edit it.
Okay, we can edit it.